Hello everyone, this is Komal Mathur, a legal intern at Lexis and Company. I study in Manipal University and currently I am in my second year. I am glad to have this opportunity to intern with Lexis and Company, which is the sole reason I am presenting this video in front of you all. The topic or purpose of today's video is introduction about media law and its theories. So let's start with a brief introduction. Communication is a procedure which we use to exchange information by various methods, and media is a medium or instrument of storing and communicating information. Media, the popular term inter alia used as press, denotes the printing or electronic information carriers, for example the newspaper, the magazine, the radio, television, and currently includes internet as new media. Hailed as a fourth estate, media is a watchdog of public affairs, informing the society and vice versa. Acts as a forum to advocate the views of the society at large to those at the helm of the public affairs. The word medium comes from the word media comes from the word medium, and the word medium comes from a Latin word called medius, which means in the middle. The word communication is derived from the Latin word called communicate. Now, media law covers the area of law which involves around the media of all types. For example, whether it is about TV, film, music, publishing, advertising, internet, and the new media, etc. And stretches over various legal fields, including but not limited to corporate, finance, intellectual property, publicity, and privacy. Media law is a legal field that refers to advertising, broadcasting, censorship, contempt, copyright, defamation, entertainment, corporate law, freedom of information, internet, information technology, privacy, etc. Now, let us know about the theories of press. Normative theories were proposed by Fred Peterson and Wilbur Schramm in their book called Four Theories of Press. Now at the first, the word normative theory was pronounced in USA during the height of Cold War with communism and Soviet. Often it was called as Western theories of mass media also. A normative theory describes an ideal way for a media system to be controlled and operated by the government, authority, leader or the public. These theories are basically different from other communication theories because normative theories of press are not providing any scientific explanations or predictions. At the same, these four theories of press came from many sources rather than a single source. Now, sometimes media practitioners, social site critics and academics are also involved to develop these normative theories. Normative theories are focused in the relationship between the press and the government, then press and the news audience. Now, these theories are more concerned about the ownership of the media and who controls the press or media in a country. Normative theories are divided into following categories. The first is authoritarian. Now, long before the democratic societies could think of matters pertaining to the freedom of speech, there existed a thought that emergence of media should not challenge the writ of the government, which were more in dictatorial form unless they looked like democracies. The media was forced to remain under state control. It had following features which in non-democratic governments still ruled on media. Direct governmental control of media, which is media cannot publish anything without the permission of the people in power. Now, no printing that could undermine the established authority or offense to existing political setup. Now, nothing such shall be print which can undermine the established authorities or the decisions or their activities. Now, the government may punish anyone who questions the state's ideology, and media professionals were not allowed to have any independence within the media organization. Registration of the media was done by the state before they could publish anything or through their mediums. Now, this theory developed in 16th or 17th century and was mainly based on absolute power of monarchy. It was essential that the press supports monarchy and couldn't criticize it. This approach was designed to protect the established social order, setting clear limits to media freedom and ensure that it is not media which must talk about people and their problems in any manner. According to this theory, mass media, though not under the direct control of the state, had to follow binding its bidding. This theory's idea was taken from the theories of Plato. Now, this was a theory which, kind of was against to the freedom of speech and freedom of expression, because media was not given a right to freely express their views or the problems of the public or about the decisions or any kind of activities done by the people in power. The media was under the direct control of the government. So this was the first type of normative theory, which was authoritarian. Now we'll read about second kind of theory, libertarian, which is a quite contrast of the previous theory. Now libertarian theory is just in contrast to the authoritarian approach to media. The founding fathers of these theories were Milton, Locke, and Mills. They propounded that press informs, entertains, sells, and helps in discovering the truth. It is a free marketplace of ideas where anyone can publish his or her views and expressions. He cannot defame or obscene. There shall be minimum checks and balances by the government. The libertarians had a very modern approach which was quintessential to serve the purposes of the modern society based on the rise of democracy, religious freedom, expansion of economic freedom, philosophical climate of the Enlightenment, undermined authoritarianism, and emphasis on personal freedom and democracy. The reason behind this set philosophy was that people are rational and can distinguish between truth and falsehood and between good and evil, and therefore be allowed to express their views and expressions. Now here the media says an absolute freedom of expression, and its prominent features are competitive exposure of alternative viewpoints. Attacks on the government's policies are accepted and even encouraged. The media as a watchdog. Journalists and media professionals ought to have full autonomy with the media organization. That is, they were not being controlled by any kind of people in power or the people in authority or the government. There is no explicit connection between the government and the media. The press is free from censorship. It is accountable to the law for any consequences of its activities that infringe other individuals' rights or the legitimate claims of the society. In rebelling against authoritarian theory, early libertarians argued that there should be no laws governing media operations. Free press means that all forms of media should be totally unregulated and free to express whatever they want. Now the third and the most acceptable theory was social responsibility theory, which was a balance between the authoritarian and libertarian theories which we just now discussed about. This theory keeps certain areas free for the press, but it sometimes put a lot of responsibility on media. Media is not just seen as an enterprise like others in the business sector of any society, but due to its unique nature, society expects a particular role which media must play in getting rid of social evils. Educating people, criticizing government policies, and expressing other wrongdoings in the society. Now the sense of responsibility has been emphasized more in this theory as compared to any other. The basic premise of the theory is as follows. Media has certain obligations to the society, which is media has responsibility to do what is in the favor of the society and the people of the country. It must show truth, accuracy, objectivity, and balance between the government and the citizens of the country. The media should be free but self-regulated, which is here the media is not completely free. It should be regulated. It should, it should publish only what is meant to be published, only what is useful, nothing wasted. Now the media, according to this theory, is pluralistic, diversity of society, various points of view, forum for ideas. The media ownership is a public trust. Therefore, a journalist is accountable to his audience or readers. Now, according to this theory, the journalist or the person, particularly in the particular kind of media, publishing a particular kind of news, if he or she infringes somebody's rights or somebody claims defamation, so that particular journalist will be held responsible for that. So the fourth and last theory is the theory of Soviet communism. Now with the revolution in Russia in 1917 and the practice of Marxism, there appeared a very different approach to deal with media. The media was tied to overall communist ideas and defined in a very different way. Now, the theory to control media possessed following features. The media was closely tied to communist ideology. Second, the media is collective agitator, propagandist, and educator in the building of communism. There will be no private ownership of the media. The government is superior to the media institutions. The media is supposed to be serious about its topics. The Soviet theory does not favor free expression but proposes a positive role for media, society, and the world. Press contributes to the success of the state. Only legal party members can publish and no one can criticize the party. Then the government has influence over the direct influence over the press. It was closely, media organizations in the system are not intended to be privately owned and are to serve the interest of the working classes only. Both Soviet and authoritarian acknowledge the government as superior to the media institutions. The Soviet theory differs from the authoritarian theory in that the media organization have a certain responsibility to meet wishes of their audience. This theory is derived from the ideologies of Marx and Engels that the ideas of the ruling class are the ruling ideas. It was thought that the entire mass media was saturated with the bourgeois ideologies. Lenin thought of the private ownership as being incompatible with the freedom of press, and the modern technology means of information must be controlled for enjoying effective freedom of press. The theory advocated that the sole purpose of mass media was to educate the working class and the great masses of workers and not to give out the information of the authorities of the government. The public was encouraged to give a feedback as it was the only way the media would be able to cater in its interest. And that's all for today. Thank you so much. Have a good day.